Welcome to the Majin Cast, where we talk reactions, community, and everything MajinPlanet. I'm Professor Prime, and today we're wrapping up our journey with Ultraman Arc and talking a little bit about the future of the site and what I'm trying to build with MajinPlanet. So Ultraman Arc, for those of you who have been watching and following the channel since, I was saying about mid-March is when I started watching Ultraman Arc, I believe. I finally finished it, guys. That's right. As a recording of this episode, I have watched all 25 episodes of Ultraman Arc, and I would say overall, it was good. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that. How did the show stick the landing? Well, I'm going to tell you guys a couple of little things about me. A little history of Ultraman here with me. I did watch the original Ultraman show. I shouldn't say the original Ultraman show. I should say whatever Ultraman show was put on the Sci-Fi Channel or whatever it was back in the 80s. They had a terribly dubbed show, and it was called Ultraman, and I don't remember which one it was, if it was the original Ultraman or if it was a different variation of Ultraman, since I know it's been around longer. Yeah, I think it's even been around longer than even Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. So it's like the original, like, you know, Toku show. And I mean, I've been aware of Ultraman for a long time. I've always thought it was a cool little concept, you know, like the voiceless character who, and I talked about when they turn into Ultraman using like a special device, you know, usually very simple henshin device, and you know, they do a hand sign or something, and then they turn into a giant monster, not a giant monster, a giant Ultraman and fight kaiju, you know. So I've always been fond of that interaction. But that being said, Ultraman Arc is officially the first Ultraman show that I have watched completely. And I would say that it had some issues, and I don't know how to put it. There was a moment there, I think it was around episode 5 or 6, that I was like, I don't know if this is worth me watching. I was interested in the first episode, and then it just kind of like, I guess I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for it to be so episodic. And I'd like to give a shout out to all those in the comments on MajinPlanet TV who came in and were like giving me advice about the show, saying, hey, you know, this is kind of how Ultraman is, you know, let me know that, hey, that there's not an overarching story to the show, that it's more of a like, hey, this episode is like a standalone episode, so it's episodic, so you don't actually really have to watch it in any necessary order. You can kind of watch it in any order to a degree, because there are some episodes that were like little mini arcs, no pun intended, that we would like 1 or 2 episodes. I think 3 episodes was the longest kind of like overall arching story of like something going on, other than the Onyx and the main plot of the first episode that tied into about midway through point, which was kind of strange to me because I thought that was like the ending, and I was like, well, we're only on episode like 15 here. And I ended up putting those all together as like a little mini, you know, at like, it was like 13 to like 6, or no, I think it was like 13, 14, and 15, like that kind of together. And I'm glad I did that because it felt like a little mini movie, and I was excited about that. But I would say that Ultraman Arc really stuck the landing for me, because I decided that, you know, when Ultraman Omega dropped, I was like, you know, I'm going to watch it. But there was an early point there in the beginning that I was going to drop the show. And not necessarily because the views are very low. Like, you know, at the time I was doing Gojuger, and those were getting like, you know, over 500 views per episode. And then Ultraman Arc was getting like 20 to 30. And even Gava was hitting at least over 100 views and getting comments. But I stuck around with it because it just seemed like the community for Ultraman was there. And I gotta thank you guys, because you guys really kept me going watching the show. And then by episode 8, I was like, this is a good show. And whoever wrote the show, like the writers, like, damn, like there were times where I was like holding back tears. So what surprised me about Ultraman Arc is the fact that the writing was so good. I will just come out right and say it. I would say, if you were to ask me right now how I would rank what I have seen of Gava, what I have seen of Gojuger, and then like what I've seen of Ultraman Arc, out of the 3 Toku shows that I've been watching actively on the channel right now, I would say Ultraman Arc, considering that I did finish the show, so it is completely over. I would say it was the better one out of the 3. And that's saying something because I really, really like what they're doing with Gojuger, and Gava is interesting and fun. But I would say Ultraman Arc is the one that really, really solidified me to like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this because the community was there. And I just give big, huge shout out to all you guys who jumped in and said, hey, this is like, gave me some history about Ultraman, like, the show itself. And hey, even like some of the later episodes, like there was a clip show episode. And I didn't mind that episode because it had actually been like a couple of weeks since I had even watched Arc, because I had been doing other things and I was kind of so ahead on Arc that I was only doing like one episode a week at the time. And so I was like ahead. So I didn't necessarily have to watch, just like with Gava. I actually haven't watched any new episodes of Gava in 2 weeks because of that. Because I was so far ahead with episodes that I could just edit and post up like once a week, But now that Ultraman's done, and I'm now on a weekly schedule for Omega, I can kind of just like take that extra time that I was doing, like trying to do all that. I can just now catch up on Gava and get Gava basically caught up to its current episodes to be ready in time for Zeta to come out in September. So I kind of like the idea of just being on like, hey, on Sunday I can just watch all 3 episodes of the new shows and then spread them out throughout the week for you guys, versus like me scrambling to keep up and feel like the momentum's gone. Like, and I kind of fell a little bit behind on Gojuger because of that, because I had some things happen and I wasn't able to watch an episode 1 week because I couldn't find a sub version. And then I found the sub version and then I didn't watch it because I had other obligations and things going on and some other stuff in my life that was kind of just preventing me from making content. And so I fell behind and I was just kind of like throwing out, I would say, subpar content. And that's why in April there was very little content posted in April because of that. And then, here I am, now we're back in full swing and I've kind of made peace with some of the decisions that I've had to make, which have been very hard to make. No, not really. They weren't really hard to make. But I think Ultraman Arc did live up to my overall expectations of the show. While there were some things that I kind of wish that there had been a little bit more, like, I don't know how I want to put it, like different aspects of the show that I would hope would have been more explored. Like, I find it extremely crazy when I got to the end of the show, the last episode, and like, I was like, it's over. And I was like, I wish there was more. And then of course there's a movie. So I'll be watching that movie here probably in a week or so and posting that on MajinPlanet.com for you guys to watch. I might even post up a time-based version. I usually do time-based versions of like the movies because I don't like posting the whole things up for copyright reasons and stuff like that. Even though the whole thing is like a borderline copyright IP thing, which is like, I try really hard to be respectful to the creators and stuff like that. But that being said, am I excited to move on to Omega? Yes. And I've actually already watched the first episode of Omega. It is out on MajinPlanet, right, the YouTube channel right now. Or you can just head over to MajinPlanet.com too. You can watch everything on MajinPlanet.com. You don't actually have to be on YouTube to watch anything. I do post them on the website same day that they go live on the YouTube channel. And a lot of stuff I do post depending on when I have it, a week in advance. So, as of, if you guys are probably watching this on MajinPlanet.com, like 3 days before it goes live on YouTube and on, other podcast platforms and stuff like that to listen to. But yeah, I'm excited. And Omega really, really surprised me. And I'm glad that it's very different than Arc. Whereas like I had tried watching another Ultraman show a while back, not like just to react to it, but just watch Ultraman. And I don't remember which one it was. I want to say I think it was Blazer maybe. I don't know. It was like 4 years ago maybe. And I think it was the current show. But I remember it being like a team. And like, they were like, the guy like, he got the device and turned into Ultraman and saved the day. But then he had to hide it from the team. And, they were fighting against Kaiju that would appear every episode. And I kind of like fell out of it after like, I think 3 or 4 episodes. And that's kind of how Arc was. You had a team. They were not necessarily a military team, but they were a team that was part of a larger military group that were monitoring Kaiju. And then one of the characters, what was interesting about Arc is that he was actually Arc from like a young age of 11 years old, but he didn't actually access it until he became an adult. because Ultraman was growing and gaining power from him through his imagination. And the overall theme of the show being your imagination is endless, which is really, really cool to see. So yeah, with Omega, I mean, so far we don't know a lot about it yet. And all we know is that he came from some place. It's different because it's not like an Ultraman, like the Ultras, and then like they don't have enough power to be like in their own form, so they have to materialize into like a device that a human has to use to turn into Ultraman or turn into that Ultra. Where this time it's a human. Well, he's an alien, but he's a human who can turn into Ultra and turn into an Ultra himself, which begs the question, do Ultras have human forms? And they have to use, and when they have enough power, so you know what I'm saying? So like it's a whole nother discussion, but I'm interested to see where it goes. So with MajinPlanet.com, and if you happened to click on some of the older videos, especially in the videos, and I probably should go back through and edit out the Patreon call to actions, especially in the Who Told the Tegasword one. I can't talk today. The Tegasword video, which did very, very well. I'm really happy with that review, which is crazy because like I've had mixed reactions with people. Like I've asked like, hey, do you guys want me to do Godzilla reviews? Or reactions, I should say. Should I just pick and choose movies, or should I just start from the beginning and go straight through? And I would say, like, based off the votes that I got, which is a small sample size of the channel, but you guys said, hey, watch them all, and then I as I tested the waters, and I did, like, you know, I think I did 3 of them, and they all did terribly. They all did very, very badly, and so that's something that I might, like, move over and just gonna have it on MajinPlanet.com and not even like post them publicly on YouTube. And that's kind of the thing where I'm at right now, like especially like Patreon. Like I was using Patreon, and the problem with Patreon is that with Patreon I was posting like the reactions, the uncut stuff, and like and stuff, content, but like I don't know if like, because the channel, even though the channel is old and I have had content since 2016 on there, but the issue right now is that like we're in that growth phase where people are discovering the channel and they're like, oh, that's a cool video, or that's a cool video, but they're not necessarily converting over to MajinPlanet.com because they don't know about it. I did a poll asking, hey, do you guys, like, what's the reasoning why you guys don't want to watch, like, do you guys want to watch uncut reactions? Like, do you care about me doing uncut reactions? Because there was a point where I was like, I might even bother even doing the full uncut reactions. I might just, you know, do my recordings and then edit them and just post the edited versions, and not even bother with uncut reactions. And I even tried this, I simplified even like the Patreon. Like I had it, like at one point it was ridiculous, like $1, $5, $10, $15, $25 tiers, you know, but you know, when people don't know who you are, and it's crazy because I say that people don't know who I am, which is true, but like I have been online, like running a website since 2000, like, sorry, 1999. February 1999, I created my first website, xfiresystems.com, and it was supposed to be a software site. Yeah, it was supposed to be a software site, and I ended up like turning it into more of a fan site. So it was like more about like Dragon Ball and like Gundam and Pokemon and then like it branched off. I had created like websites for that, and Xfire was like a hub, and it was, and I don't want to go too much into it about like my history with MajinPlanet, because I do have possibly in the next maybe several couple weeks I'll be having some special guests on the podcast, and we'll talk about it. So we'll dive into history of MajinPlanet there. But for now, just like I have been around and I have been running, you know, actively the name MajinPlanet since 2005, to the point where it's embedded in me now. Like it's been 20 years, guys. I'm officially the longest webmaster / owner of MajinPlanet, to the point where, yes, and for those of you, I'm going to give a big shout out to Majin and Mebs, who recently reached out to me, and we reconnected finally. Like it's been a long time. Like I've tried reaching out to find him for many, many years, and he was off doing his own thing, and he's a designer. He does a lot of design work, and I'm not going to go too much into it, but he does have his own podcast, which I'm showcasing on the website, which you just head over to the website, and it's just right on the homepage, and he's on 3 episodes right now. do it, and he's focusing on like AI, using AI for like art and stuff like that. He calls it being the boss Ross of AI, like design, like, logo design, animation, what can AI do to solidify those aspects. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been using AI a lot to help me come up with ideas, build ideas, and just brainstorm, really. Like, I literally would just like, hey, here's the idea I have, and I send it to AI, and I've taken the time to build a profile out. So AI, like, if I say something, AI already knows my history. Like the chat GPT already knows my history. I can literally just like write an article, and I could say, hey, can you fix this? Can you give me a version that's tailored to how I write? And I've given it years and years of samples of articles I've written in the past. And so it's able to reconfigure those articles for me. And boom, here it is, written better in the format that I have written. And of course, I can always go through and like, oh, I don't like this, or how about this? And it's, oh, that's right, let's change it, let's do that. And then I post it. It's the same thing. I need a title, and like, here's some ideas for a title I have. What do you think? And then like, it helps me out. So it's and like I've used it for mock-ups, for thumbnails. Like, I create all the thumbnails myself, but I do have say, hey, this is the idea for the title. Here's the idea for the thumbnail. This is what the video is going to be about. Give me a mock-up. It'll give me a mock-up of it. And I even did the same thing when I redesigned the website. Say, hey, here's my ideas for the website. Can you give me mock-ups? And it created all the mock-ups for me. And then I just went based off of that, and I redesigned the entire website within an entire week. And it's still not perfect. And it's one of those things that I've been designing the website and redesigning it every year. It's a never-ending battle. The site will never. I think right now it's almost reaching its final form. But even though it's like a Dragon Ball thing, it reaches its final form, and then boom, here we go. There's a form even beyond this one. And while I had a design 5 years ago that I was like, this is perfect, this is exactly what I wanted, and 3 years later, boom, I came up with something even better. I was like, well, here we go again, redesigning the whole thing. So it's been a journey for me, and it's been a real journey. And like, one of the things that I really wanted to bring back, and like with the Patreon thing, and I ended up leaving Patreon in terms of like being a content creator for Patreon, because the idea is like, hey, I want you to go to MajinPlanet.com, but then you go to Patreon. And I tried to do Patreon integration with the website, and it doesn't work. Not in the way that I want it. Like, there's so much control that I didn't have that I didn't like. So I ended up just dropping it. I did officially finally go through every single video and removed all the Patreon links. But I still have a couple videos out there that have the still have the bumper cards, and I'm like, I can't edit them out, or I have like the segments which I can edit out. But I haven't gotten around to doing that yet because it takes time, and I work a full-time job, and while I want to say this. So, like, what's the goal? What is the goal? The goal right now is not to become a full-time content creator. Because if I were to focus on being a full-time content creator right now and try to get to that point, I'd drive myself insane. And I'd end up hating it. And I'll be honest with you guys, that's what I was doing before. When 2016, I tried to be a full-time content creator. I tried, and I just burnt myself out, and I stopped doing it. And then I came back, and I tried again. And that's kind of been my journey with YouTube, is like, I've just been constantly trying to reach this goal, and I get burnt out too quickly because I push too hard. This last time around, I had a breakthrough. I had to work through some personal issues, and I ended up finding a solution. And so I tried a couple things, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I joined probably 25 different Patreons over the course of from end of March into April and even into May, to find out how they do it. How do they entice their community to join? And I went as far as going to people who had millions of subscribers on YouTube to people that had less subscribers than I had. And it blew me away that how they were able to pull people in. And as myself, I watch a lot of reactions videos myself. And a lot of times I'm watching it because I'm always one of those people. It's I love watching movies and TV shows, especially if I'm really interested in it, which is why I have such a difficulty right now of saying hey, should I go back and rewatch the MCU? I could do that, and I'd probably get a lot of views, but I don't think the reactions would be very good because I've seen all of it already. I'm actively watching it all the time. And so that makes it very difficult for me to go back and rewatch Iron Man because I've seen Iron Man 100 times. I can recite lines from that movie. But if I'm watching the movie with somebody else who's never seen it, I'm now looking for their reaction and reacting to how they react. And that's kind of like, I've tried a couple things like that, but it didn't work out. And so what I've been really trying to do is get back to that. Like, I'm not necessarily, when I post a video, if it gets 10 views, that is awesome. Hey, I had 10 different people. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, I watch my videos 100 times as I'm editing them usually. So I never ever watch them again on the channel. So like if you see a video with 10 views, that's not me. I don't watch the video. Sometimes if I click and it loads up, especially like on the homepage. So I don't know if that counts me as a view or not. But I don't sit there and watch my own videos. I don't. Because I don't. But then when I have a video that I put out that got 10,000 views, and I just think about how much work I put into that video, it makes me really happy. You know, especially when I see like 30 comments. I'm happy when I get that one person who leaves a comment and goes, "That's a great video. That's a good reaction. Thank you." Or, "Hey man, I even had comments saying your channel should be bigger than it is. What's going on here?" And it all comes down to the algorithm, and it all comes down to how I've handled the channel. And if I were to be honest right now with like the channel, it's really 3 channels in one. You have the reaction aspect of it, where I'm doing reaction videos. You have the toy videos, which I'm doing the toy videos not as often, but because I'm still working out the process. I can tell you right now, reaction content, I have got that down to a science now. Like, I can just pick any show and I can watch it, react to it, and I can have it edited in both uncut, time-based, and edited reaction within like an hour within like 30 minutes of actually, like after I've watched it, within 30 minutes I can have all that done, depending on my mood. Because I've set up all these different templates and presets that all I gotta do is drop my footage in there and just start dropping templates on there and presets, and it puts everything where I want it. And one of the things that kind of bugged me when I was like a lot of reaction channels, especially like one of the larger ones, they'll spend like 30-40 minutes talking about it. Today we're gonna be watching The Mandalorian Season 2, and they'll go into the history of their history with the show and what they thought about the last season and blah, 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 what they expect. And so it's like 30 minutes into the video until they start reacting. And then they react to it. And then they go into like a 45-minute discussion about it, which is great, I guess. And for a lot of those people, they have the audience, so they're going to watch those videos. They're going to watch the whole video. But a lot of times, I just want to see how you react to it. I want to see your reaction. Like, I want to see it, because I am just, how do these people react to this? Because how I felt about it, I want to see what other people feel about it. And so I usually skip that, which is why all my videos have like a very quick, like, "Oh, this is what's going to happen. This was something that I thought was really cool." And then we just get into it. And then I've even got to the point where I don't even do afterthoughts now. I just go, "Hey, thanks for watching. Check out the next one." And boom, we're off to the races. You're off to the next video, which is why most of my reaction videos are about less than 10 minutes long. I don't do that for copyright, to prevent like YouTube copyright system from flagging videos, which has happened. And I just go in there and I just skip out. I just cut out whatever they say they don't want. And then when I notice a pattern, okay, so that's why I've edited my videos the way I do. So they just go up and boom, you guys can get the reaction. You get my overall how I felt about it. And then you can comment and like it. And I really hope, if you want, because here's the thing I'm going to tell you guys right now. The unedited reactions, I cut out good chunks of my own reactions to keep the video short, but also to entice you guys to go watch the uncut versions. Now, granted, look, it's not about the money, guys. It's not about the money. Because let me tell you guys right now, I would have to get 10,000 people to join MajinPlanet.com Super One membership right now and pay for 2 years up front and not cancel, and have nobody cancel for 2 years. And I think I might break even with how much money I have spent since 2005. And I'm not even gonna count how much money I've spent from 1999 to 2005 for Xfire Systems and then BansheeForce.net and all the other side projects of websites that I've ran. And when I'm talking like costs, I'm talking about hosting costs, domain fees, and like services, like purchasing a service, or plugins or themes, because like, especially when I used to run Invasion Powerboard was the forms I used way back in when, and I ended up killing it in 2008 when I killed the forms because the forms were dead. And at that time I was like, look, I'm not running the site anymore. it was a different point in my life at that time. And, you know, I kept a promise. I told Majin Trunks that I would keep the website open forever. Even if I like decided to move on, I promised Majin Trunks that I would keep the site open forever. And I've had conversations with him, and he's like, dude, I've sent him like the link and said, hey, what do you think of like this thing I just did? And he'll just come back with me like, dude, man, like you have run this site for 20 years. It's yours, dude. Like if you want to shut it down, you shut it down. Like that's just how it is now. But no, it's like it's been engraved into who I am now. Like I even have people at work call me my shit, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I've got a lot of plans for the site, and I kept it very simple. I think, hey, a lot of people are willing to do like, you know, $5 sub for like a Twitch. Like, hey, I'm gonna subscribe to your channel for $5. So that's kind of how I take it. So, and since I'm now doing it on MajinPlanet.com, I have full control over it. Like, I can literally just like, hey, like a friend of mine or a friend wants to join, I can say, hey, I'm gonna give you just unlimited access to everything. You know, so, you know, I also right now I've reintegrated the Fight Club, and I really need to start promoting that. I think I'm going to start promoting that in every video just to get it out there. So yeah, head over to MajinPlanet.com/Fight Club, and yeah, and you can win a full year of Super One membership plus $100, I think it's $100 gift card if you win the Fight Club. So, and it's a music video AMV contest. So, you know, head over to MajinPlanet.com/Fight Club, and you can get all the details for that. And that'll be held. A contest will take place hopefully in December, hopefully, for the 26th anniversary for Majin Planet. That's crazy. 26 years. That's crazy. And I've ran 20 of those years. Think about that. It's 26 years since the site's run, and I've ran it for 20. That's crazy. But yeah, like everything, I always enjoy listening to people's feedbacks. I do want to do like reactions for the channel that are like exclusive to the website. I did create the forums again, so like you head over there, you can join the forums and get your friends, and we can have discussions there. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking about doing, is rebuilding a community and stuff like that, and using like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And for those of you wondering, if you do type in MajinPlanet on any social media account, it's 90% of the time, if you find one, it's me. But as of right now, Facebook is going to be the best place to contact me, other than you can do email. My new phone actually gives me email notifications now, so I'll be able to respond to emails a lot faster now than I did in the past. I would sometimes forget to not check my email for a month. But Twitter, I'm going to be X, whatever. That'll be like for just business inquiries only. And then, you know, Instagram is going to be like where I've always kind of done just photos and stuff like that, you know, maybe some personal stuff, you know, as stories or whatever I might post up. But beyond that, you know, I'm kind of like hoping to just rebuild the community. And, you know, I'm going to be restarting watching Transformers in August. I'm going to start watching Transformers, and I haven't decided which one yet. I did start doing G1, but I don't know, like, I don't think anybody really enjoyed watching them. And it's one of those things where it's not off the table. So like if the community starts growing and people go, hey, I want to watch, you know, you should do Transformers G1, I'll go back and continue it. Same thing with Power Rangers. Like I attempted starting doing Power Rangers, and none of the episodes are up right now, so you can't actually watch any of them. But that might be something too that I will go back and do if people are interested. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode, and thank you guys for hanging out here on the MajinCast. Got reaction questions or something you'd like me to cover? Leave me a comment. I might talk about it next week. And until next time, guys, take care.